Hey guys, it's Kaehla, and this is Are We Having Fun? I don't have Stephanie with me this week. Actually, I am currently in a hotel in the middle of the United States, super random, and we both had to get way back into the grind after reuniting last week, but we had so much fun recording our season 2 premiere that we had to split our material into 2 episodes. So we have this fun little bonus episode for you, and it's actually a drunken true crime. Bum, bum, bum. We just were in our fuels, drinking our Aperol Spritz, and I hit record. We joked around about, what, are we going to expand into true crime? And all of a sudden, I just start telling her this whole story based on this HBO Max special I had been watching. So I want to preface a little bit about the story before we get into it, because we were a little drunk. So, you know, things were a little fuzzy here and there, especially the characters, and the timeline might get confusing. I wanted to warn you guys. All right, we were drinking. We were having fun. So enjoy that. Open a bottle of wine and listen to it. Laugh with us. This is going to be a story about Robert Durst. So you were definitely going to want to grab some popcorn or something. It is a crazy story. Also, if you love our podcast, our fun times, our little adventures, or maybe the cocktails we share, then please rate us 5 stars. I know rating is available on Spotify, so do that. But wherever you listen, rate and download our episodes, because then you can listen to it wherever you are. For instance, I love Call Her Daddy, and I downloaded the episode with Emma Chamberlain from this week because those are 2 girls that I love and adore, and how else am I going to listen to them with airplane mode? So do the same for us, and let's get on into it. So Robert Durst, if you don't know who he is, he's part of this mega billionaire legacy family in New York City. And the HBO Max special that I watched was called The Jinx, The Life and Deaths of Robert Durst. So at this time, it was 2015 when it came out. That means that not all of the information is up to date as I watched this and relate it to Stephanie. So I tried to fill in the facts about like what happened in the last couple of years. But those details are very brief. Most of the detail comes from 2015 or before, whatever I had heard about in this series. And the series won 2 Emmys. It's an amazing one. Go check it out. Anyway, so Robert Durst is obviously the main character. He's the one suspected of multiple murders. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, so you're going to need to know about Kathy Durst, which is a former wife. He also has a present wife, but honestly, I didn't really care to look up her name again. You can look her up, watch the series. She only appeared like recently in the last couple years of this series, but like not a major part. So I'm going to pretend that she's not a major part either. But you're also going to learn about Susan Berman, a friend of his. You're also going to learn about Morris Black, which was a neighbor of his. You're going to learn about the DA, Janine Pirro. You might have heard her name before. You're going to learn about his family members. I hope I'm not spoiling everything, but I just feel like when you're drinking, it's not going to sound so clear. So I want to give you guys some background here. And Andrew Jarecki, he is the director of this movie called All Good Things, which starred Ryan Gosling and Kirsten Dunst. And Robert Durst had approached him to make this series, The Jinx. So Andrew Jarecki is the one interviewing Robert Durst throughout this whole thing. And I am not kidding. The story gets wilder and wilder and wilder. And even Stephanie was like, holy fucking shit the whole time. So I'm so excited for you guys to hear it. And good luck trying to understand us. Okay, here we go.
Super weird.
I'll just record and see what happens.
Yeah, whatever.
I like how it has your address. It's super creepy. I'm
I'm
also working on a song with my friend Chris again, so.
Are we
Cheers.
taking these? Okay.
Wait, is this supposed to be a shot?
Shotgun them.
I don't think so.
I don't
How do you
know if
shotgun this?
Oh, she's about to bite
Orange
in.
wine.
No,
Well,
I only did that because literally, Mark had
Interesting.
bitten into the cans yesterday. He bit into all of our cans and we were shotgunning yours.
I hate when he does
Mark.
that. His mom is a dentist. She would fucking roll over. His mom is a dentist, and he always does that. I'm like, your mom would fucking scream if she saw.
Do you think he
His
did it out of
sister
spite?
listens to this podcast. This is recorded right now.
Yes.
Do you think he did it out of spite? Like growing
No.
up,
Maybe.
he learned how to do it out of spite.
Maybe.
My mom's a nurse, so like if I hurt myself, I immediately want to fix it myself. Or depending on how bad it is, I immediately want to go to like the most ER,
Opposite, yeah.
Like I will go to the ER for something so minor,
This
and my
is
mom's
good.
like, "Are you serious?" So I feel like Mark probably did it.
I
to
think
be like,
Mark's
Spite, like,
Kiss my
oh,
kid.
my mom can fix it.
No,
or some shit, like-
I think Mark is just from Florida,
I don't think you can do
and
this.
you just, whatever goes in Florida, you open things with your teeth.
I honestly can't open my nails still.
Oh, here.
It's not that bad, honestly.
No, it's good.
It's nice.
It's like a pina colada.
Orange wine. Yeah, it is.
I don't.
Pineapple
Given
colada.
how small it is,
It's 15%, so it's like we're drinking a glass of wine in a little ball. Cheers.
Little
bitches. Are we gonna chug
balls.
this?
We like our
Should we-
little
should we
chug
balls.
this?
should we?
I'm not chugging.
Chug half.
Come on.
I
Let's do it. Let's do
half.
it.
I did
Cheers.
eat dinner.
Cheers.
Cheers. One more. Chug.
Yeah,
chug.
we have food here.
Oh no, you cannot convince me to chug. I cannot chug.
It went over.
It's also like a little bit not cold.
It's
so.
strong.
I'm not chugging.
That's so nasty.
Yeah, so
Well, we gotta these two.
we
drinks,
have a
and then
lot
we'll make another one.
of explaining our lives to do, but luckily you're here to listen and
Let's just
full
start from
transparency.
the top, shall we? When I was 5,
when I was 5, I didn't
I
have
went through some trauma.
No, when I was 6, I didn't have the trouble. I didn't have the pleasure of meeting Stephanie because she was on the other side of the
You
neighborhood.
gotta wait till you were 7.
And by other side, she means halfway around the fucking world.
No, when you moved.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
We
She
were
was-
in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
But you weren't in that neighborhood then. Oh.
I faked my address and I used my grandpa's address,
In
which
Bay
was
Hill.
Bay Hill.
But you were on Kirkman or something, right? Where were you?
I was like almost in Pine Hills.
Okay.
I was like,
But
all
like
the way.
back in the early 2000s,
In the
I don't think it was
good
as bad.
No, it was bad.
Oh, it was bad.
I mean, it was okay. But it was like the old people were like a little bit starting to die off. So like allowing
Literally?
more.
I mean, when you put it like that.
So like the nice like old families were still kind of there, but also like the newer younger families were also there, and they were not so solid. And I wasn't allowed to leave my driveway. My parents would not let me play outside. Like,
Good.
Literally.
Oh my god, really?
Good.
Yeah.
It's Pine Hills. I wouldn't
Oh,
either.
well,
It was like
Yeah,
outside.
yeah.
It was like right outside
You
Pine
know,
Hills.
there's fucking crazy.
Like-
You listen to crime junkies. There's crazy ass people in this world.
Yeah,
I
but
would not
they
do
don't
that.
cover Pine Hills. I wish.
We can find that. Is this a new podcast
the Pine
episode
Hills
idea?
podcast.
Season 3.
Yeah.
Dude, if we do a
Pine Hills,
crime
Crime Hills.
podcast, I will be all over that shit.
So-
I'll research that like my fucking job. I'll be
I was
like,
gonna say I'm slowly getting into, but that's the thing. We start
listen
with
to
this
Morbid
podcast.
podcast. It's a hairdresser and a autopsy specialist that's made.
really random.
Yeah, they're best friends, and it's a hairdresser and an autopsy person. They're best friends. They created this podcast. It's a crime podcast.
Okay.
And it's very like, it's like Call Her Daddy. It's very like,
Send it-
say whatever you want to say. They don't really script it
I'm
that
off the
much.
call.
Yeah.
Daddy.
Send it to me.
Morbid.
Send it to me.
That's a good one to ease into.
So we
it's crime, but
start.
it's
We
not, like,
start with
super-
Are We Having Fun? This was supposed to be our like, okay, you know, life sucks, but like at least we have this fun podcast where we get to be friends and talk about stuff, and then it can expand. Once we like develop this, it can expand into crime if you want. You can have your own crime segment. Have your own crime segment.
Yeah, Crime Junkie.
Fucking
has, like,
research, and I'll let you have.
You're right, yeah, but they're crime related.
But they're different. Like one's international, one's like
I, as your co-host / business partner,
Durst,
will allow you, and you totally have as much say as I do. I will allow you to have a crime segment.
I mean, I'm down.
But you have to actually research it.
But I need you to. I can't just be me talking. Like Crime Junkies. There's like Ashley Flowers, who's like the main lady. Yeah, Brit's just the reaction person. Like, wait, what? Like tell me about that.
Like when I'm talking, you're
not gonna know about it, so you can be like, wait, explain this.
Yeah,
do that. Like that's the feedback.
Okay, Parker and I just finished this docuseries about Robert Durst. Have you ever heard of this guy?
I've heard the name.
I feel like he's a serial killer.
Big time serial killer, like one of the richest families in New York. Whatever. Parker heard about it on a podcast. I
feel like they might have covered this.
Yeah, Parker heard about it on like a sports podcast or something. I don't know, but they mentioned it.
Who did he kill?
He killed like 3 people. His wife, potentially.
Oh, this is the family, right?
It was like he was like a weirdo, and he like. Wasn't completely into the whole real estate empire family business, like top of the top New York City, but his brother he was kind of the like in the background, like did his own thing, was kind of weird, but he was with this woman.
Durst, Durst.
Yeah, Durst. You need to watch it. We'll watch it. I'll watch it again. Fuck it.
Getting Away with Murder. Some other podcast did it. Once Upon a Crime. Morbid did it.
But yeah, so basically 1982, his wife disappears. He calls it in and says, I haven't seen my wife in like 3 days, whatever, I'm worried. They never figure out what happened to her. Story checks out that like that night he was in his country home. She went to the city and like went to her penthouse that they shared. But they had like gotten in a fight, but like over the years his story changes, so there's like a lot of sketchiness. Her friends start like trying to take him down, like
because they know he did it.
Yeah,
that's how it always happens when your story changes.
The husband.
Yeah, they're like, we don't trust him, like we're gonna figure this out. They never figured it out, but they're like, so kind of like fell off. Then 2000, 2001.
Oh shit! So like 20 years go by before they actually catch this guy.
No.
Before he kills again.
Yes.
Oh.
20 years go by, and there's like his best friend, and she was the daughter of a big time mafia guy, which she didn't know growing up. Yeah,
best friend.
She didn't know growing up, but her dad was like big time mafia, and then basically, she made it her life mission to take down the mafia. Like basically was like.
Did her dad die because of it, or
I think he died. I forgot that detail.
Like turned on him or something.
But like she basically was like, I'm gonna be a writer. I'm gonna tell my story, and I'm gonna like call out these people and catch them and whatever. And so he ends up getting back into the limelight, and the police are kind of like finding new clues having to do with his wife.
Because the case is still open, right? Like
the case is still open. Like the DA...
Is this on Netflix?
Yes. No. I think it's Hulu.
Okay.
The DA, bad fucking ass girl. I love her. She's a badass New York woman of some sort. I don't know. I want to be her one day. And I'm not ever going to be her, but I want to be...
Just a badass. Anyway, like, I want to be in the CIA.
Anyway, she's always
take down terrorists.
Yeah, she's always fucking ready to take down Robert Durst, whatever. And she's like talking throughout the docuseries. But anyway, it's 2000, 2001, 2002. I don't fucking know. Oh, here's what happened. Sorry, best friend is like helping him through these hard times. Whatever. Sometimes he would send her money. She's doing her mission work, trying to take down the mafia. Meanwhile, he takes off because like these new like clues come up, and I can't remember the details, but he runs away. So he's like from New York,
but he's like trying to get away from the cops. So he's like in another country or something.
He goes to Texas.
Okay.
So he changes his name. He pretends to be a deaf woman, and there's all these like weird details about how she's never home, whatever, she travels a lot. But the neighbor ends up being found drifting in a river with his torso separated from his arms.
The neighbor of him?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. So his torso was found in the river, then his arms, then his legs. Then they never found the head. They figure out, though, who it is because they ended up finding his identification and tracking down his apartment. And then they end up finding the blood tracks. And then they find all the details.
In like the blood tracks that led from Robert?
That led to Robert's apartment, yeah. But he was pretending to be a deaf woman at this time. But they could never prove that he murdered him. So he hired like the top attorney, like 2 attorneys.
Who basically said like they don't have anything on you.
So. And so basically the whole case was, we're not here to prove if he murdered this guy. We're not here to say that he murdered the guy. No, wait, I'm not saying this right.
But like he did murder the guy.
We're not here to say that he murdered the guy, we're here to prove that he did.
No, we're not here to prove if he murdered the guy. We're here to prove if he cut up the body in self-defense or
what?
Like, I don't know, it was weird.
He was dead, but I cut him up.
It's like the wording.
Yes, yeah. So we're not...
Oh, so like he was already dead.
Yeah.
And then he just cut him up because he felt...
Because he felt, like, nervous about it or something.
That he would be pointed to the crime or something like that.
Yeah.
That is so backwards.
So he cut... Yeah.
That's the most victimized fucking...
So the whole thing...
personality.
The whole thing turned out to be that the guy was sitting in his apartment when Robert Durst came in, and the guy was like, I know who you are. You're not a deaf lady. You're a killer. You killed your wife. I know who you are. I'm going to tell the cops where you are if you don't give me money. And, like, had a gun.
Oh, the guy came into Robert's apartment.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Supposedly, maybe they knew each other. Maybe they didn't. There's a lot of gray areas. Anyway, this whole docuseries is told from the point of view of Robert Durst.
So what have we learned?
Robert Durst is telling all of this in an interview, but the end of the docuseries leads to, like, his demise, basically. Because he sold himself out, basically.
He basically
admitted
to it?
Yeah, by the end. So he
killed his wife, he killed this guy. Did he kill somebody else?
Well, so basically, we don't know if he killed that guy, right? He was acquitted. But they say...
He killed that guy.
They say that the guy, actually fell.
So it was an accidental murder.
Yeah, the guy fell, and then his gun went off and shot himself.
Oh, that's what I would tell the cops, too.
Yeah. So, basically... We don't know if he murdered him, but he definitely cut up the body. That's what ended up happening.
That's some luck.
So, okay, back to this
time
girl.
For cutting up a dead body?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he did do time. So he gets out, blah, blah.
Stupid.
So back to this...
You get time for grave robbing.
So this best friend is named Susan Bateman.
Oh, yeah. Where did she come into this?
So she was
Is she like your fucking psycho?
So she was in like... kind of the New York scene, kind of the Las Vegas scene. But she moves to Beverly Hills. She had lived there for a long time. And, wow, there's a lot. There's a lot to unpack here.
There's a lot, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, we have to watch this. I was actually really invested in all this. This is from 1982 all the way up until last year.
And he still hasn't been convicted of any of them.
Oh, well, I'll get there. So, anyway.
I need to sit down. Where's the fucking chair?
Yeah, sit down. Here, move this.
The wine brought me down faster.
So, basically, Susan Bateman had moved to Beverly Hills. Okay, she's living there. This murder happens, right? The case opens up all over again. Like, the names come out again. What happened to the wife? And then
a couple years, they're like, oh, yeah.
So, yeah. 20 years later, like, now we're fucking on to Robert Durst again. Like, he did something again.
Robert Durst.
Yeah. So then, in Beverly Hills, the police, and, like, you know, everybody's trying to figure out what's going on. And then somebody goes, if you are going to get any answers, I think you should talk to Susan Bateman. Like, that was the name that was given to the
he would have, like, confided in her something.
Yeah. So basically, the police contact her, and then she contacts him and says, hey, the police contacted me. I wanted to let you know. And then turns up dead right after that. And it was never...
His best friend?
It was never proven that he was in LA, but he was in California that weekend.
And she died in LA?
And she died in LA. She was shot in her apartment, and then the cops found her in her apartment, and the dogs had, like, stepped in her blood and, like, tracked around. And, like...
And they can't prove that he has killed any of these people? Like, there's literally that much lack of evidence?
Yeah.
He didn't leave a fingerprint? Like, fucking nothing?
Nothing. So, basically, this is, like, 2002 at the latest. I don't remember the years. So then, fast forward to 2010, I think, and this guy writes about this whole crazy series of events as a movie. And it starred Ryan Gosling and Kirsten Dunst.
The irony.
It's called All Good Things. So we should watch that movie too.
And it's about this?
It's based on, yeah.
And her last name is Dunst and it's Durst.
Yeah. Well, so the whole thing,
All Good Things.
So the whole thing is, like, they changed the names and it's a fictional story, but it was inspired by those events. So they make the movie, and then Robert Durst comes forward. He had been on the set a little bit, because he's a free man at this point. But he comes forward to the guy who made this movie, and he said, I would like to do an interview from my point of view. I haven't spoken to the public from my side, and I feel like, you know, everybody's heard everybody else's word on what's going on in this situation, but no one's heard my side. So he wanted to do a docuseries with this filmmaker. And...
Wait, it doesn't seem like this is about, like, murder at all.
Oh, it is.
After David gives in to his father's demand, he worked in the family's business.
Yeah, it is. It's literally based on the whole thing. But they never... I mean, it's never proven that she's murdered, but... Yeah, it's literally based on that situation. That's the wife and the Robert Durst, but they changed the names. So basically, he makes this docuseries, right? And this is where I'm relaying the information to you because I'm talking about the docuseries. So it gets to the point.
Basically, events in the life of Robert Durst.
Oh, here's the thing about Susan Bateman. So when Susan Bateman was killed, somebody wrote a handwritten, like, envelope to the police in LA and said Susan Bateman is, like, dead in her house. Something like that.
So that they would find her.
So that they would go to her. He, like, hand wrote it.
Why would you want them to find her? So that it's almost like taunting, like...
It's just to, like...
Get the ball moving?
I think in his eyes to, like... I don't know, not let her rot there. I don't know what the intention was there. But the thing about it, so he had this very specific way of writing.
He's in jail now. The New York real estate heir is serving a life sentence after his September conviction for the 2000 murder of his best friend, Susan Berman.
Yeah, so I haven't gotten there yet. You love looking forward in all series.
Keep going.
So, I'm taking away the phone. She ruined. She literally ruined Grey's Anatomy for me.
Hate surprises.
She literally.
I love to know the ending. I'm the opposite of every other person out there.
Literally told me McDreamy died, and sorry to spoil it, but
that was like season 9. They're on season 15 now.
I know, but you told me when I was in like season 3 with you. You looked it up online. We weren't even there yet.
I'm sorry.
Anyway. So Susan Bateman. So this letter was handwritten. So they were trying to identify the handwriting. The biggest clues that they had was it was written in block letters, like capital letters, all capital letters, and Beverly was spelled wrong on Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills. So it was spelled with like an E, okay? So that was all they had to go off of. DA's pissed. She's a fucking badass woman, and she's like pissed. You know, she can't fucking figure it out.
I fucking love this.
Yeah, I love her. And so they're filming this docuseries. They finally get to they get to this point where Susan Bateman's son was, you know, involved with the docuseries, said his piece, whatever. He was really close to Robert Durst. And then he's very disappointed to find a letter from his mom, like in his mom's house, as he's searching through items.
From Robert.
And it was an old letter from Robert Durst to Susan Bateman.
Misspelled Beverly.
And he misspelled Beverly. And the penmanship was very similar. So, like, the big question was he framed? Was he not framed? Like,
who the fuck would frame him?
Did somebody, you know, try to copy that letter and write it as the same?
To frame it like, Robert was the one.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks he did it for his wife anyway. So
right.
Just throw him under the bus for
right.
this.
So,
when in reality, this guy's a fucking psycho.
So, yeah. So, basically, so this is like a literal, real life You. Like the show You, you know? This guy is, like, very methodical, and he is saying, like, okay, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm killing this person. It has a reason. I really do love them. Like, you know, whatever. And he's, like, getting really close to his enemies, like that kind of thing. And so they trust him. And
you should be a fucking narrator, because you just said the whole docuseries, and you're still going.
I am a narrator. Hello?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, yeah.
Hello?
You go.
Anyway. So the son finds this letter, okay? And he brings it to the filmmaker, and he's like, do you see what I see? And he doesn't want to admit it. He didn't
take it to the police? He took it to the filmmaker?
The filmmakers, the police, like, they're kind of all... They all know the docuseries is happening. They all know...
When did this docuseries come out?
2015.
Oh, so he
2015.
Must have just gotten convicted. Okay,
yeah. So at this time, they didn't take it to the police.
Oh my gosh,
yet.
This is like 10, 15 years after she was killed. That he finds this letter.
Oh, Susan. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's way after she's killed.
All that time without answers. And now he's like, wow.
Yes, exactly. So when they're filming this series and they start like...
Gives them a reason to start going through
shit. Yeah. And so basically he finds this letter. They do take it to the police. They take it to the DA, badass woman, you know. I can't remember her name, so she's just badass woman. But they do take it to her, but they talk about it first, you know. And this guy is like, I did have a very close relationship with Robert. He was my mom's best friend. Like, he didn't want to accept that this actually could have been him.
Even though everybody else probably was like, hey, it was him.
Yeah. So then, because it had been so long and it was never proved, you know? So
he's like, if it was him, it would have been proven.
Right. So, like...
Especially with all eyes on him.
So he's like, fuck. Like, now I have no way around, like, there's no denying that these look so similar. And they take it to her. She...
The badass.
Yeah, badass woman.
The BA.
The BADA. Okay, the BADA. They take it to her, and she's like, I see what you see. And then they take it to an analyzer of, like, script. And they did all this computer work, and they took multiple files of Robert Durst, like, unrelated.
His handwriting.
Of his handwriting.
Like, automatic
matching to see if the letters match. Not 100%. It was kind of, like, gray area, but, like, okay, like, look where this matches this. Right. Like, the ends in his... like, where he signed when he was arrested here, match this one. So then, like, the filmmakers even, like, fuck. Like, I've gotten close to Robert Durst through this whole docuseries. Like,
oh my god, because you're making a film without knowing if he's guilty or not.
Yeah.
So while you're making this film, you're like, we're fucking solving this crime.
Yeah. So he's like...
That's cool.
So he's like, shit, I never had a reason to feel unsafe. Now...
The filmmaker.
Yeah. Now that I...
And the reason he's about to be found out.
Yeah. Now that I have literally something that could totally prove him as guilty... This guy could come after me. This guy could come after my crew. This
like
guy
he did everybody else before that.
Right. So he's like, I need to get him onto an episode, but do it in a way where he's not going to take it as like, oh, fuck, they found me, and then, like, you know, explode on everybody. So they like...
Oh, my God, that's terrifying.
Yeah, so I think Robert Durst started catching on because they were like, hey, we want to do one more episode. Like, you said that, you know, you would do it again, and we would like to do one more piece before we close up the whole docuseries. And Robert's like, well, I'm going out of the country. Sorry, like, we can do it afterwards. And he lied about that. He actually, like, went to California instead of going to, like, Spain. And he, like, the place where he said he was going to be didn't match up with his excuse that he told Susan Bateman's son. So, like, literally, like, Susan Bateman's son is, like, more on the filmmaker side. And it was like, well,
if you were at night, like, alone, and you just fucking, he could come into your door and just fucking kill this filmmaker.
Bro, right. Like, so basically, like, they're like, oh shit, he might actually, like, kind of catch on to, like, we know something, you know? Like, he's very smart, he's very calculated. He's already hiding, like, he's already lying. Finally, he actually gets arrested again because I left out all the details about the family business and the brother that runs the business, but basically the brother felt unsafe for all these years. At one point hired a bodyguard to protect himself from his own brother, Robert. So, like, you know.
So he got arrested for something that wasn't murder related.
Yeah, so he got arrested because he showed up on his brother's doorstep. He probably was going to go try to, like, do something. So he, it was like, he broke his, what's it called when you're not allowed to, like...
Restraining order?
Yeah, kind of like a restraining order. Like a cease and desist, is that a thing? I don't know.
Yeah, cease and desist.
Yeah. So they
like
had one of those.
Contacting somebody and, like, keep calling him and shit.
So they had one of those. So he broke that by showing up on the doorstep. Like, there's video footage of him walking up the steps.
So at least he's off the streets now. Like, at least he's in jail. And then this gives the filmmakers time to, like, actually find out the truth type of situation?
No. So they found they did all the letter matching and whatever. And then they called him to do another episode. He kept saying, no, stop. Like, I don't want to do another one. I changed my mind. And then he got arrested. And then after he got out again, and he was a free man, then he was like, okay, I'll do one more episode. And then on that last interview, they lined up the
and they said, look
letters.
What we found.
Yeah, look what we found. Like,
did you do it?
No, but the way he said it was like, how can we sit here and say that they don't look exactly the same? Like, do you see what I see? Beverly's misspelled, like,
and
you
what
know.
did he say?
And then he was like, you know, he was always saying what his lawyer.
Whoa.
He was always saying what his lawyers kind of, like, let him say, like, that kind of thing. He was very calculated on he rehearsed what he wanted to say, like, all that. But he twice throughout the docuseries fucked up and left his mic on when they were not interviewing. So one time he was, like, whispering to himself, and, like, he didn't say anything crazy, but they were like, your mic's still on, we can hear everything. And then the second time was after this last episode. He was in the bathroom, he left his mic on, and he's literally talking to himself, and he's like, they found you. Like, you did it. You killed them. Like, talking to himself.
Oh, why would you say that? Why would you even talk to yourself?
Because he fucking did it since 1982 or longer. Like, that's, like, literally.
And
like,
that's all they needed to be like...
Well, it wasn't just that, but, like the letter definitely propelled it.
Yeah.
And, you know, after that...
Oh, my God.
That's when the series ended. So, obviously, I don't have all the details, but during this time, like, towards the end of the series, Parker had been looking up his own stuff.
Yeah. I always research all this.
Yeah. And so, basically, it took until 2020 for him to be guilty of murder of Susan Bateman. And so it was propelled by this docuseries. And then he actually died of cancer in 2021. I think, so you looked up November, but look it up. Look up the date.
He died of cancer? So he had cancer that whole time?
I don't know how long. But can you believe that it took him up till his deathbed to be convicted of anything?
Fucking creepy. Look at this guy.
Mm-hmm. It's too sweet.
What is?
The pineapple thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm gravitating to this. Convicted murderer, suspected serial killer. Do you know what you need to be a serial killer versus a murderer?
3 kills?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real estate heir. He was the son.
See, it was never proven he killed his wife.
Also, no, he's convicted murderer. It's proven he killed. Oh yeah, suspected because they didn't.
Yeah.
Still
proven he killed Susan. He was acquitted for the other guy, and it was never proven with the wife.
Girl, he died 7 days ago.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
January 10th, 2022.
Yeah. So literally
after my fucking birthday, he died when I was in.
Yeah.
He died when.
So that's why, I think that's why we watched it. I think that's why the podcast was talking about it, because he had just died. They released a podcast episode mentioning him, and then Parker was like, let's watch this docuseries. And it's all this shit happening for 40 years. Literally 40 years.
And he had married somebody else.
And
in 2000.
And he had married somebody else. And she had no idea of his whereabouts. She didn't know he was in Texas. It was all very sketchy. And she was after his money and stuff like that. It was... I didn't mention any of that because she wasn't very important.
He literally died He died a week ago. He died last Monday.
Yeah, so...
Holy shit.
It literally took 40 years for anything to actually happen.
Oh, this is the wife.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. Fucking wow.
So I guess we're a true crime podcast now.
I'm down. Let's fucking do it. Oh, that was the second one, the one I showed you. This is her.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.